समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Okay, so we start verse 15 this time. सर्वेन्द्रियगुणाभासं सर्वेन्द्रियविवर्जितम् असक्तं सर्वभृच्चैव निर्गुणगुणभोक्तृ च. This verse says, shining by the functions of all the senses, yet without the senses, unattached, yet supporting all, devoid of qualities, yet their experiencer. Okay, now these verses are the essence of Vedanta. You know, they are the description of the Parabrahma. Once you understand the Parabrahma, Paramatma, then everything else actually takes a backseat. And here there is a description. Now, the description is also very interestingly given. Description over here uses the language of contradiction. Now, this is a very interesting way of bringing forth or explaining what it is trying to say to the audience or to the student. Look at this. Shining by the functions of all the senses, yet without the senses. Now we know that Parabrahma is unique by itself alone. There is nothing in it, but nothing can be without it. So here it says, shining by the functions of all the senses. It needs an equipment to express itself. In Parabrahma, there is no movement, there is no expression, there is no activity. But as we have done before, Sanidhya Matrena Kaunteya, Krishna says, that means by its mere presence, it activates things, though in itself it has no activity. And always you give the example of electricity, that electricity does not have movement, it does not have uh, any action. Yet, when equipments are attached to electricity, then it activates them. So here, see, he says, shining by the functions of the senses. That means you cannot see it by itself, but you can only know it through the effects it produces in equipments. Okay, so now see, fans, bulbs, all these, they are not in Brahman. And see, just like water, okay, let's take water. Water has no color, okay, it has no shape. It takes the shape of the container and it takes the color of the container. Similarly, Brahman, if the brain equipment is intelligent, it will shine as intelligence in that. It will perceive as drishti in the eye. The eye being just a fleshy organ, it gives light to the eye. It gives sound to the voice. all that. So it gives movement to the body. Okay, so here it is shining by the functions of the senses. It expresses through the equipment, but it does not have senses. So here it says functions of all the senses, yet it is without the senses. It is unattached, yet supporting all. Now see, unattached yet supporting all. Without them, without Brahman, nothing can function. Without Brahman, nothing can be. Without Brahman, there can be no perception of an object. But in it, there is nothing. There is no object. Now, here shining by the sense, so when you see somebody speaking, you understand it is Brahman lending the power of speech. When you see somebody as having a bright idea, intelligence shining through, that is again Brahman giving the power, because the matter of the gray matter, as you call it, of the brain, when you dissect the brain, what do you see? Do you see any intelligence? No. Do you see any ideas? No. Even Einstein's brain, do you see anything? Nothing. It's like any other brain. So, what was it that produced that intelligence? It is him alone. The brilliance, the beauty, the intelligence, anything at all is him alone, but it expresses through the senses. Now, see, it is again another example like petrol. Petrol does not act, but put in the car engine, it causes the movement of the car. But when you meet an accident, you cannot blame the petrol. Petrol is only giving you the energy to move. In which direction you move, that is your own. Similarly, a criminal, you can't say that whatever action he does is being done by Brahman, so Brahman should be blamed. No, it is he lending the power to the criminal's mind to indulge in crime. If his mind is saintly, he will indulge in saintly acts. So Brahman only lends the power to act. Okay. So here see, even the eye sees, because when it seems to possess all the functions, but it is as though the senses are acting. Here he says, is unattached yet supporting all, devoid of all qualities, yet their experiencer. Okay. Can the dead body experience? Who experiences? Who experiences the experience? See, awareness is property less. It cannot experience, the senses cannot experience anything. They are dead matter. They are matter. Matter has no life. So the experiencer is him, despite the fact that he does not, as he says here, supporting all, devoid of all qualities, there is no quality in him. But every guna is experiencing, guna bhoktra cha. It is he who enables experience. That is what it means. He enables experience. Okay. So you can take it like this, that Brahman is one without the container, and with the container, he is this Jeev. He charges this container. Okay. So see, this is not very easy to understand, and therefore analogies are used by the teacher to give you examples. See, One wave is not the ocean. He is giving an example here in your text. All the waves put together are not the ocean. Yet, in each wave, every little bit of water is nothing else but the ocean. Is nothing else but the ocean. The wave is supported by the ocean. It cannot exist without the ocean. Yet you cannot say that the wave is the ocean. Got it? You cannot say that the wave is the ocean. Similarly, another example like cloth. Cloth is nothing else but cotton. But when you see a cloth, do you say this is cotton? Without cotton, that cloth cannot exist. There will be no fabric. But you cannot say this is cotton. That is a cloth, yet the cloth, the support of the cloth is cotton. Okay. Similarly, another example, the ghost and the post. The reality of the ghost is the post. See? So can the ghost exist without the post? No. Yet the ghost is not in the post. Think about it. The ghost is not in the post. Yet you see the ghost because the support is the post. So the reality is the post which you do not see. So when someone is talking, walking, laughing, joking, you do not see Brahman. You see all that, just like you see a ghost. You do not see the post. Similarly, here, the support, which is Brahman, you do not see Brahma, but you see the effects of Brahman. Okay? So, like that. Now, see, when it says without gunas, yet enjoying all gunas. So, I told you that who is enjoying the guna? Bhoktratva. Bhoktratva belongs to him. Without him, there can be no bhoktritva because the mind experiences joy and sorrow, the mind experiences pleasure and pain. So then, if the mind is not there, if the mind is dead, no body experience. Have you seen people in coma? You prick them, they don't move. They don't experience the prick. What happens in anesthesia? When doctors want to cut your stomach open, they deaden the mind. So when the mind is deadened, the patient does not experience anything. You can cut it up, you can do what you like. So he is the experiencer, though he experiences through the senses, but he is the experiencer. There can be no experiencer without Brahma. Okay, so he is the one who enjoys all the gunas. So but this is as though the person is experiencing, as though the person is speaking, as though the person is seeing, as though the person is hearing, but actually the hearer, the experiencer, the speaker is him alone, is him alone. You can call him God, you can call him Mr. X, you can give what name you like. If you have a problem with saying God, call him anything. As it is, all religions call him by different names. So you can also do that. So there is no problem about that. Okay. Come to the next verse. Bahirantascha bhutanam acharam charamev cha sukshmatvat tadvigneyam durastham chantike cha tat. It says without and within all beings, the unmoving and also the moving, char achar, को moving and unmoving. You can translate as dead or living, or with life and without life. Translate as anything you like. So with and within all, without and within all beings, the unmoving and also the moving, because of its subtlety unknowable, and near and far away is that. Again, see, this is contemplative language. It seems contradictory, but it is not really contradictory. This can be explained as Gurudev has done so beautifully. And he says, without and within all beings. See, anything for which you say without and within means that it is all encompassing. It only means it is everywhere. So it is in you, it is outside you. There is no place where it is not. There is no place where it is not. Right? So here, that is why he says without and within all beings, and the unmoving and also the moving. Unmoving and also the moving. It is there. He is only trying to show you that he is everywhere. Okay. So you have both the things, unmoving and moving. Because of its subtlety, unknowable. Okay. Because of its subtlety, unknowable. Dekho, the grosser the things are, the more perceptible they are. Like a table here. You can see the table, you can feel the table, you can touch it, you know the shape, you know the color, you know everything. So anything that is gross can be felt by the senses. The subtler it gets, the more pervasive it gets, and the more imperceptible it gets. Okay. It loses shape, it loses color, it loses visibility. The subtlest element is air amongst the elements. See, you can see fire, you can see mud, earth, okay? You can see water, even though water gets a little more subtle, it doesn't have shape or like that. But air is the subtlest. Okay? Space or air is the subtlest. In that, there is no visibility of air, it can only be perceived by its effects. Many times I've given you the example that when a child says that, Mummy, when you say air, where is air? Show me. So, how does the mother show air to the child? By a swaying branch of a tree, isn't it? She says, see, can you see the branch moving? Can you see the leaves rustling? Yes. So, that is air. But he says, where is air? So he says, air is the power that is making the branch move. Otherwise, the branch will not move. So, air is perceptible and felt by its effect. You say hot breeze. India, everybody knows Loo. Cold breeze. You know, the Chinook and all that in Canada. You so that is extreme cold breeze, you can feel it. Hot breeze, you can feel it. So air is felt by its effects, not seen. You cannot touch it, you cannot see it, and you cannot, so all that. So it is a subtle element. Okay. But water also, see, water loses shape. Water loses shape, water has no color. Also, it can be seen when you want to see, it can be seen by its shape. It's a lake, it's a stream, it's in a glass. When it becomes steam, it is much more pervasive. It is much, much more pervasive. It loses shape totally, right? So, like that. So, here it is like that. Now, then, what does he say? Um, huh, Subtlety, unknowable. And then he says it is near and far away. Okay. Huh. Okay, first let's take this one, moving and not unmoving. It is moving and unmoving. Dekho, don't you say that this road goes to Bombay? The road is not moving. What is the language you are using? The road goes to Bombay. है ना? You are using the language of moving for an unmoving thing. Similarly, you say that that I came to Lucknow by bus. How did you come? By bus. What were you doing in the bus? Sitting. Were you moving? No. Did you take one step towards Lucknow? No. So you have moved with the help of something else that is moving, but you were stationary, isn't it? You were stationary. Similarly, whether you go in a metro or you go by plane or you go by what, your own car, the car is moving you, so you are going. So there is movement in an unmoving thing. An unmoving thing is moved to some place, right? Similarly, when it says moving and unmoving, it's a contradictory statement, contemplative in the way that understand that our body, like I'm always giving the example of the body is matter, it cannot move. Some other thing is moving the body. Just like you are being moved in a bus, moving bus. Got it? So the here it says, see, it says unmoving and also moving. It is both. It is making that move which cannot be moved, which cannot move on its own. So it is actually Brahma cannot move, because to move you need space. I can only move to where I am not. Got it? I am sitting here. I can move from here to where I am not sitting. I can move there. But if I am everywhere, Gurudev used to say, it has no elbow room to move, because it is everywhere. So I cannot, when I'm all pervasive, I cannot move. Like I cannot move from this shoulder to this shoulder, because between these two shoulders, it is all me. Where do I move? Just think about it. So he says this, that it is the unmoving and also the moving. When you see a moving object, that is also Brahma. Unmoving things are also Brahma. Things that are alive are also Brahma. Things that are not alive, Jad or Chetan, they are both Brahma. Now, then, subtlety. Because of its subtlety, it is unknowable. So, how is it known? It is known by its effects, as I have told you. It is known by its effects. Now, see this one also. It is near and far away. दोनों चीजें बोल रहे हैं. It is near also and far away also. See, this kind of language needs to be unraveled by a teacher. Otherwise, if you read this on your own, people say Geeta is very confusing. We can't make out anything from it. Naturally, you cannot, because it is the language of contemplation. It is describing something that cannot be otherwise described, and therefore it is using the language of contradiction. It is a mysterious language to tell you what exactly this is. Okay, now Shankara described this verse, this last part of the verse, as that supposing you are standing on a circumference, a circle. Okay, now what determines that you are closer to the center of the circle is if you are facing the center. If you are standing facing the center, then you are close to the center. Okay? If you are standing facing outward, then where are you? You are furthest from the center. Okay. Gurudev explained it like this. Supposing the center is the ultimate reality. When you are looking towards that and you're wanting to go towards that, you are near it. When you are facing towards sensuality, away from the center, away from anything that is sacred or holy or the Lord, when you are totally indulgent in an extrovert life, then you are far, far away from Him. So he says it is near and it is far away. So when you are facing outward, then you say, where is God? Who is God? I cannot see God. I know nothing about God. When you are facing towards Him and you're trying to go towards Him, when you're attracted towards Him, then you are near Him. Otherwise, you are farthest from Him. You cannot understand anything about the Lord. Okay. Now, see, Gurudev used to say this. I have written this down. Gurudev, he used to say that He is you. That is what all the Mahavakyas say. Tattvamasi. So, how far are you from yourself? The more you understand that it is He who is functioning through me, you are close to Him. You are close to yourself. You understand the reality of yourself. And otherwise, you are the farthest from Him. Also, ये देखो, एक वो गजल है, क्या है, मैंने कहीं सुनी थी, नजर नजर के सामने है, क्या था, नजर के सामने है, सामने आता भी नहीं. आई थिंक इट इज गुलजार और somebody. नजर के सामने है, सामने आता भी नहीं. He is right in front of you if you want to see him. गुरुदेव तो यहाँ कहते थे, he is standing behind you and whistling, come, come, look at me, come. But you don't look, you don't turn, you didn't make a U-turn. You always look outside. You keep looking outside and hunting for him outside. You hunt for joy in things outside. You look for pleasure outside. You look for any peace outside. So it is all, you are barking up the wrong tree. You will never get him. You have to make a U-turn. And as Gurudev said, that you, how far are you from yourself? Try to understand that. And once you do that, then you will know. Okay, he is everywhere, yet you do not see him. Just to give you a small example, as I gave air, air is everywhere, but you see only through its effects. So since Brahman is everywhere, you don't see Brahman, but you see him through the effects only. The actual reality cannot be seen. I am quoting from Edgar Allan Poe, and this is a quotation I have written down for you. He says that those that are invisible are the only realities. those that are invisible are the only realities. Everything else that is visible is an illusion. That is what Vedanta has also said, isn't it? Everything that you can see, feel, touch, smell, taste is an illusion. And all the time we run after the illusion. Okay. So, isko chodo ab. Now then come to the last one. अविभक्तं च भूतेषु विभक्तव विभक्तम् इव च स्थितं भूतभर्तृ च तज्ज्ञेयं ग्रसिष्णु प्रभविष्णु च. He says, and undivided, yet he exists as if divided in beings. That is to be known as the supporter of beings. He devours and he generates. Again, beautiful language, and so nicely, he is trying the, Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna how he can perceive the Lord. वो कहते हैं ना ज्ञान चक्षु खोल रहे हैं उसके. He is giving him the sight to see. Otherwise, we only see that which are objects. So here he says, see, देखो क्या कह रहे हैं, and undivided. He cannot be divided. See, something that is everywhere, how can you divide it? You can't divide it. Yet he seems to exist as if divided in beings. When you say I and you, है ना, you have divided or not? Or what have you divided? As if Brahman is divided into you and me. He cannot be divided. He is the same everywhere. Electricity cannot be divided. It is a power. But when it exists as light, somewhere it exists as heat, somewhere it exists as something else, because of the equipment. Similarly, here the division takes place because it is expressing through an equipment. So it seems as if, see, the word used is as if, iva. यहाँ से ना विभक्तम इव, आपकी फर्स्ट लाइन में देखो, विभक्तम इव. Iv means as if, like, as though. And he exists as though divided in beings. So, electricity has only one color. It has no shape. It has no size, no shape, no color. But when it expresses, how many shapes, how many sizes, different colors, different things, different effects. Heat, cold, and light. Think about it. Similarly, this great grand power is expresses as different kinds of effects, and that is to be known as the supporter of beings. Without his support, there can also not be any effect. There will be no effect without his support. Without his support, you cannot see, the eye cannot see, the nose cannot smell. The best brains cannot come up with a new idea. The most intelligent of people cannot give a brilliant speech. Okay. Now see, to give you more and more examples of the same thing, he says, support of all beings, he says, he devours and he generates. He devours and he generates. Take the example of the dream. The dream generates, the mind generates the dream. everything, every being that you see in the mind is divided by whom? The mind, isn't it? The power of the mind in your dream divides a hill, a human being, a lamppost, a house, a tree. That division in your mind is done by whom? The power of the mind alone. So there is only one thing, the power of the mind focusing or projecting. The division takes place with the power of the mind alone. Though the mind is only one, the mind is undivided, isn't it? Okay. Similarly, the reality behind a cinema being seen on a white screen. When you see a film, what is the reality? What you're seeing, what is the reality? The reality is a white cloth. Isn't that so? The reality is only the white cloth. But without the white cloth, if the projector projects, can you see anything? Nothing. You will only see light. So there is what? There has to be a base, there has to be a support. Only then it can manifest. Similarly, the reality of what you see over there is the projector and the film, isn't it? If the projector shuts down, what is the reality of all those dances that you were seeing on the screen? What they were just shadows. The reality is that black reel, that black film that is moving in front of the projector's eye, isn't it? Here also, the same thing as Alan Poe said, the reality is invisible. The screen is invisible, that is the reality. The projector is invisible, that is the reality. The illusion is the only thing you see, isn't it? And people cry and laugh and feel sorry. They even bring tears to their eyes. For what? An illusion? Even knowing that this is an illusion, people know this is an illusion, still just think about it. Think about it. It is such an alarming thing. And okay, it devours and he generates also. Now, see, devours and generates. The mind generates the dream, and where does the dream go after? The mind devours the dream. It eats it up. Even in nature, see, the tree produces the leaves and the fruit, the earth produces the tree, and the it is from the mud alone that all this rises, and then the mud alone devours it after it falls back into the earth. The fruit, the leaves, and all, who devours them? The earth. Again, it devours the whole thing back again. So he says, acha, again, देखो वो सारे examples will tell you the same thing. The snake and the rope, same thing, isn't it? The rope produces the snake, and when the light is put on, who devours the snake? The rope. The ghost and the post, similar. The ghost produces the post produces the ghost, and the post devours the ghost. It is all illusion and play. How strange it is. Similarly, if you understand these examples as true, think about it, that this is exactly what the play of Brahma and matter is. Brahma, through Maya, projects all kind of divisions. This whole world of plurality is projected by Maya with the power of Brahma and then it is devoured back again over there. It's like a projection and taken back, projection, taken back. When you wake up in the morning, you project the world. Once you are in deep sleep, you devour the whole world back again. It's nowhere. When you get up, you project your own world. I project my world. Each one's world is different. Even the objects that you see, each one sees them differently. People tell us that dogs can see only gray and they can see only gray. We see so many colors. It depends upon the equipment that you have. The power is the same. Uh, uh, these insects that live in the ground, you know, things like earthworms and all, they can sense a movement of an earthquake miles away. We cannot. So each equipment's powers, capabilities, and qualities are different, and all the differences are supported by, energized by, dynamized by this great grand power. Otherwise, nothing can work. Okay, so till here this time. Next time we will do the verse 18th. ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्